friends. I'm Jim Blake, the CEO at Unity World Headquarters. I first encountered Barbara when she and Reverend Wendy Craig Purcell inquired about my willingness to serve with the AG&T team. That was 9 years ago. And we had been meeting regularly since then, sharing our lives, ideas, and visions for what New Thought could become. When I reflect on all her professional accomplishments, I'm struck by how many things simply would not have happened without Barbara Fields there to organize and hold them together. She was the glue for so many interfaith and New Thought collaborations. We joke that bringing us all together is sometimes like herding cats, but Barbara had a gift for it. She was the quiet, unassuming force behind so many of New Thought events and achievements in the past 20 years. It's fitting to celebrate her life today at the end of the Gandhi King season for nonviolence and peace. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We are prone to judge success by the index of our salaries or the size of our automobiles, rather than by the quality of our service and relationship to mankind." Barbara had a relationship of service with humankind. She loved people and wanted to make the world a better place for them. She had a knack for bringing them together to talk to each other. The synthesis dialogues with the Dalai Lama, the Parliament of the World's Religions, the Buddhist-Christian theological encounter are all great examples. Barbara seemed to naturally see the divine in all people, and as a result, we could all see the divine in her. May her light of expression be an example for all of us to follow. May her legacy remind us of what we are all capable of. Rest in peace, my dear divine friend.
On behalf of the Universal Foundation for Better Living Incorporated, or UFBL, its board of directors and member ministries, I extend the deepest condolences on the transition of one of the greats in the New Thought movement, Dr. Barbara Fields. I met Dr. Barbara in her role as executive director of the Association for Global New Thought. Specifically, she engineered the various spaces for the New Thought movement to fill at the Parliament of the World's Religions held in Chicago in 2023 under the theme A Call to Conscience, Defending Freedom and Human Rights. And let me tell you, she was really passionate about the work. A great team player, Dr. Barbara Fields rallied the New Thought community, and due to her collaborative efforts with Reverend Charlene Manuel, trustee on the board of the Parliament, and all of us within the movement, the World Parliament of Religions at the headquarter level recognized New Thought and offered us a designated space to share who we are with the Parliament community. We were featured also in the great halls of the Parliament and on various workshops and sessions, as well as on the main stage. Yes, Dr. Barbara Fields had her hands in all of that. A gifted woman, she used her gifts in service to others. Her compassionate heart was big enough to include all of God's children. Her prayers reflected this, and her work bore witness to it. Dr. Barbara was also deeply committed to prayer, and I was fortunate enough to be included on a prayer call that held the vision for her strength, for her comfort, and most of all, that the divine will be accomplished. She shared her prayerful thoughts on the first Wednesday call with New Thought leaders of New Thought umbrella organizations. And I know for sure that while she is missed, she will never be missing. The entire UFBL community extends its condolences to her family, to the Association for Global New Thought team, and the entire New Thought movement. As we say in Jamaica, walk good, Dr. Barbara. You are loved, you are blessed, and you are really appreciated. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Unity Minister, Reverend Charlene Manuel. I first became aware of Barbara Fields during the time the Parliament of the World's Religions was soliciting programs for the 2009 convening to be held in Melbourne, Australia. I was still on an energetic spiritual high from the 2004 convening I'd attended in Barcelona, Spain. And I was on a crusade to gather friends and colleagues in unity to participate in presenting programs and attending the world's largest interfaith convening. At the time, our executive director of then the Association of Unity Churches was the Reverend James Trapp. And I contacted him and let him know, what could we do to get the word out, to let everybody know about the upcoming convening that would be held in Melbourne. He said, well, you should talk to Barbara Fields. She's heading up the New Thought programming, and here's her information. That was my first contact and introduction to Barbara Fields. At the 2009 Melbourne convening, not only were there many New Thought programs, but a group of the various New Thought organizations under the direction and guidance of Barbara organized and pulled off a New Thought gathering that was held the day before the actual convening began. Now, what's so exciting about that, important about that, is we had that pre-Parliament event, New Thought event, in the Melbourne Convention Centre at the location where the convening was to be held. Today, in how convenings are done, that is nearly next to impossible to pull off. So it was a big deal that we were able to have our pre-Parliament New Thought event in the same location as the convening the day before. We had stalls made up with the logo of all the participating New Thought organizations. There was a New Thought choir. It was an incredible event that really set the tone for the phenomenal event we had at the Melbourne convening. So it was with, a great start for me in getting to know Barbara, for one thing. So with each subsequent convening, I was one of the many people who contributed to the New Thought presentations that were organized by Barbara Fields. When I was elected to the Parliament of the World's Religions Board in 2019, I contacted Barbara and she became a valuable resource, thought partner, and supporter of the work that I was doing at the Parliament as a member of the board. And when I became chair at the beginning of this year, I connected with her, talked to her, and one of the things she reminded me of is that the first time we met was before the 2009 convening, and she reminded me of that and said she remembered me from that time, which was a surprise to me because I didn't know she really remembered me from way back then. But she became this incredible person that I could talk to with her understanding the origins of the Parliament, because she was the program director for the 1993 Parliament convening that was held in Chicago that year. My last communication with her, we shared some of different things about the Parliament that we knew, but she also said that she really felt that all the work that she had been doing over the years, making sure that New Thought was represented at the Parliament, and also in her work as the program director of the 1993 convening, all of that good work would be remembered and carried on. So I was excited to hear that from her, because indeed, I feel I stand on her shoulders with making sure that New Thought is represented at the Parliament as chair and a board member of the Parliament. So I want to just share something, a reading. There's a wonderful book that the conveners of the 1993 convening wrote, and it's called The Community of Religions. And the contributors to the 1993 are the authors of this particular book. But I found a chapter in this book that is penned by Barbara Fields, and at that time it was Barbara Fields Bernstein. So that's the article in the book. And I want to just read just a couple of selections out of this. The conveners of the Parliament shared from their perspective what the Parliament was about, how they went through that process, and what became of it. So the title of her chapter is A Parliament of the People. She starts out by saying, the human being is a work of art. For 8 whirlwind days, the collective genius instructed, sang, and danced, debated, responded, prayed, meditated, laughed, and cried, embraced, argued, learned, worried, stayed up too late, listened, and was heard, became leader, disciple, and empowered. From the perspective of program director for the 1993 event, I have since described the experience as a microcosm of human excellence. She goes on to say, working with unwieldy numbers, complicated, diverse issues, and obviously low priority scheduled status, a great deal of planning, expertise, and love was poured by the entire team into the challenge of designing the Parliament of the People. Charismatic leaders and figureheads, well-known authors, prize winners, so-called experts and authorities are featured on the proverbial VIP guest list. The Parliament program was no exception. It boasted an impressive speaker roster as conference organizers could ever hope to engage, and whose role it was to deliver wisdom via major addresses to large audiences in fine ballrooms. But truly and fortunately, there emerged another parliament, the Parliament of the People, because the brilliance of spirit cannot be veiled by vanities. The Parliament program proved a healthy challenge to the prevailing model of hierarchy. For every religious leader and secular expert who spoke there, 40 more grassroots leaders shared their more anonymous wisdom with others. And finally, she closes her chapter by saying, without question, we are riding the waves of great change, helpless to do more than look deeply into ourselves for the wisdom to remember the nature of the whole. For now, at least that vision will carry us through. I, for one, will never receive a greater blessing than to have walked among the Parliament of the People. In a rare window of circumstance, we lived up to all our legends, shared heartbeats, reclaimed our faiths and our faith, honoring others in the purest sense of that word, and most dazzling of all, celebrated the mystery. It has been an inspiration to read Barbara's words as I do the work that I have at the Parliament and to know exactly what she was thinking and feeling in that moment. And it has been a true honor to know her, to experience her, and to have her be what I really think of as a friend on this incredible journey in life. God bless you, dear Barbara, and thank you, thank you, thank you for the work that you have done and the path you have laid out for many of us to continue the good works you've started. Blessings.
Of Dr. Barbara Fields. Truly, truly a visionary and a pioneer, one of the great leaders of our generation. She believed in New Thought. She believed in not only its message, but its possibility, determined for it not to be something obscure, but to be able to have a rightful place on the world stages. I first got to know Dr. Barbara back in the early days of the formation of the Association of Global New Thought. And I am pleased to have been serving the past few years on the Leadership Council of AGENT along with Dr. Barbara. And I've watched her along with working alongside her as she's done things like help to spearhead the Season for Nonviolence. What an extraordinary program that has been, literally all around the world. Her efforts in getting the New Thought movement being recognized in the Parliament of the World Religions. What an extraordinary advancement that was. And I say thank you to the rest of my colleagues who were also a part of that particular venture. Although she wasn't well enough to join us at the last Parliament in Chicago, it didn't stop her from organizing. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that New Thought had the largest contingency present there of any other religious group, hundreds strong. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes an extraordinary amount of connection, of sometimes just herding cats. But she did it. She did it. And it's just extraordinary to know that today, the president of the board of directors of the Parliament of the World Religions is somebody from New Thought. First time in history, and the first African American woman. Shout out to Reverend Charlene Manuel. And you know what? If we really want to keep Dr. Barbara's legacy alive, then we're going to need to step up. We're going to step up in the Parliament because there's nobody else in New Thought that's on that board or that's in a leadership position to make sure that our voice still continues to be heard. I had a chance to work with Dr. Barbara on a number of projects. Diversity, cultural diversity has been one of my fields for a very, very long time. And I'm so pleased that she pioneered, along with some of my other colleagues, in are being able to create diversity tools, things that the movement could really use at points in time when many people in the movement were a little skittish about that, where we talk about diversity, but a lot of people are afraid of it because they fear that diversity is going to lead to difference, which is going to lead to divisiveness. But to rise above all of that and to create resources and to be able to help to create the dialogues and the conversations, about that. Even though when there's been pushback, And I can say that Dr. Barbara could hold her own in terms of the pushback. Part of what is exciting about our movement is that we're such free thinkers. And when you get a whole bunch of us together that are thinking outside of the box, it can get very heady and very elusive sometimes. But to take all of that, to synthesize it, to say, okay, what are concrete actions that we're going to now take with the best of all of our ideas? That's something that she had a particular knack for doing. Those are some tall, tall shoes to fill. I mean, really. And yet, gratitude isn't enough. If we really, really want to honor people, we have to follow in their legacy. We have to keep their work alive. I think that we can, and I think that we should. I'm proud to say that I could call Dr. Barbara a friend as well. She had particular um, sensibilities, and I loved the support that she would give, the way that she would show up or help or assist in whatever projects that I was involved in, and in ways that were so genuine and authentic, not just obligatory out of any institutional position that she held, but just a real way that she saw people as people for the individual contributions that they could make. It's my hope that we meant as much to her, that we were able to impact and encourage and uplift her, and even just a smidgen of the way that she was able to do for so many of us. Dr. Barbara, you're missed. You're really, really missed. Godspeed, whatever that is that's next on this eternal journey of life. May it be brilliant. May it be vivacious. May you be able to continue to be and to do things that keep stretching the boundaries, even in the next dimensions. We got nothing but love for you. Rest in peace, my sister.
Hello, my name is Dr. Roger Teal, and it's my tremendous privilege, in fact, it's a great honor to share some thoughts from my heart with you about a beloved being, a tremendous mind, a great heart, Dr. Barbara Fields. I became aware of and met Barbara when I and 7 or 8 other spiritual leaders and ministers from various New Thought centers and churches came together to harvest a vision. Our vision was to create a New Thought umbrella organization, an organization embracing all the New Thought movements and independent New Thought centers, and to align our New Thought phenomenon with other New Thought-like organizations, individuals, groups, organizations doing similar work with a similar shared philosophy. The idea being that that would be a way to move our New Thought out into alignment and collaboration with other activities in the world and contribute our unique gifts rather than being an organization insular to New Thought. We wanted to get ourselves out in the world. And one of the things we knew we needed, since we were all leaders of big ministries and our plates were very full, we knew we needed somebody to lead the charge. A talented person with various contacts and a tremendous energy to buy into this vision and move it forward with us, we found the person, Barbara Fields. Barbara had recently been the organizing director, program director for the Parliament of the World Religions, its centennial celebration in 1993. And in that capacity, she had amassed a tremendous Rolodex, as it were, of individuals who were leaders, spiritual leaders, social activists, teachers, monks, priests, rabbis, imams, incredible contacts with the very kinds of beings and organizations that we were seeking to align with. And she was so enthusiastic from the very beginning, so very enthusiastic. She caught the vision. She, first of all, immersed herself in and became conversant with our New Thought teachings very, very quickly. And then she could see how they aligned with these various organizations, and things began to pop. We began to create activities. One of our aspects of vision was a peace movement. And she said, I know the person. Arun Gandhi, the grandson of the late Mohandas K. Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. We came together and invented a season for nonviolence, the 64-day period between the memorial anniversaries of Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi, and embracing the teachings and the nonviolence principles of those two luminaries, along with Cesar Chavez and others. This became tremendously successful. Almost 300 other organizations developed curricula and activities to promote the season for nonviolence. It still goes on to this day. It was very rewarding. Just an example, another example. She brought us into an awareness of Azim Khamisa, a man of the Muslim faith whose son was tragically killed in a gang experience. He was delivering pizza to a gang house and was shot. And he tells his own story of moving into a sense of forgiveness and then becoming a peacemaker as he embraced the grandfather of the shooter, and then eventually visited the shooter, the young man in prison, dedicating himself to a forgiveness movement. We began to work with him. She introduced us to Brother Wayne Teasdale, a beautiful Christian monk who was dear friends with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. That opened another great doorway to create what we called the synthesis dialogues. We did that 3 times in 1999, 2001, and 2004. Each of those times we brought together many, many spiritual teachers, organizational leaders, movement leaders. The first time we journeyed to India, to the Palace and Cultural Center of His Holiness. And there we held some fascinating dialogues over a tremendous period of time. It was something of a definite pilgrimage, which included an 18-hour school bus ride from Delhi to Dharamsala. And we all have stories to tell about that. Barbara right in there with us, enduring all of the challenges, all the different personalities, finding a way to meld this thing together to become something wonderful. We did that 3 times, and every time it was so deep and enriching. We produced some tremendous conferences. The Awakened World Conferences are one of our more successful ones, was in partnership with the Institute of Noetic Sciences. We had over 2,000 people attending this incredible event. That was, for us, the real culmination of our idea of getting our New Thought spirituality into alignment and activity and cooperation with other organizations. You know, one thing, we could go on listing the accomplishments she helped us achieve. But one of the things I most respected about Barbara was that she would call us ministers together, along with another leader in our midst, Barbara Marks Hubbard, who also helped us coalesce our philosophy that we're bringing out into the world, our relationship building. We would come together at quarterly and have these meetings, and we'd have a check-in, which went far too long, as each of us talked about our lives and our ministries. And then we'd dive into brainstorming, and every time Barbara would show up with a very clear agenda. And every time we massacred that agenda. We didn't follow it at all, but she was so patient so humorous about it. And she'd find ways to pull us into an agenda item in no time and place where it was supposed to be, but it would happen. And she'd get a lot done. And I also respected the amount of work she did in the interim between these meetings. All of us ministers would pledge to do our best to move things forward, but when it really came down to it, we relied on her for the greatest amount of our progress, again, given our significant commitments. But she always flowed. She presented such a rich consciousness, a tremendous intellect, a deep and vibrant open heart. And at the same time, she had a playfulness, a joyfulness, a laughter about her. There are times we found ourselves at certain events dancing, and she was right there leading the way. Uh, she'd be some of the first with tears at some of the things we observed and the challenges we engaged in. Such a range of expression. Barbara, you conveyed so much to me. You helped me to open to greater depths within me and unlock potentialities within me. Barbara, I'm grateful that your soul incarnated upon this earth at the time it did. I'm grateful that you could see the light in me, in the other leaders, in the world amidst its suffering and its challenges. I'm grateful for all the gifts, more than anything, how our hearts connected and all the many things you did for me. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you, dear soul, for all you helped us do and for all you showed up to be. I love you, and I look forward to our souls dancing together in another space and time, another dimension. I'm quite confident it'll happen. Thanks for giving me this opportunity, everyone, to share about a remarkable person that I love dearly. God bless us all.
Peace and richest blessings to all of you. I am Michael B. Beckwith, the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center and co-founder of the Association from Global New Thought and the acting president. And February 21st, 444, Barbara Fields made her transition into the next expression of life. It's hard to believe that we've been working together probably about 30 years. Co-founded the Season for Nonviolence, the synthesis dialogues with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and numerous conferences and gatherings around the United States and the world to uplift, heal, inspire, and transform lives. Barbara was a rare bird. She had the supreme intelligence, and she was gifted with a compassionate, loving heart. Barbara loved humanity and was always on the skinny branches of being an exclamation point of assisting humanity into its next level of expression. More than all the things we got a chance to do together, her and the other wonderful leadership of the Association of Global New Thought that created a kind of an umbrella for the New Thought movement to help dissolve any sense of splintering around the different faces of the New Thought movement, New Thought ageless wisdom, as I like to call it, and to create a space for all of us to realize we're all emanating from the same pool of information and transformational knowledge. Beyond all of that, Barbara was a very good friend, a confidant, and we spent many hours together just sharing and uh, pouring into each other at different times in our lives. So as I think about Barbara, obviously on the human level, I'm going to miss her. She went into the other side of the veil at 444, which is a great number, meaning that in esoteric teachings, it's the angelic realm is there assisting her. And so I can give all kinds of accolades about what she did to further the New Thought movement, New Thought Ageless Wisdom movement. She was instrumental in working with the Parliament of World Religions to ensure that New Thought was actually a legitimate uh, religion, so to speak. There were many religions in the Parliament of World Religions. We know about Buddhism, we know about Islam, we know about Christianity, we know about Zoroastrianism, we know about all these religions. But under Barbara's leadership, as a representative of the agent, as we were called, she assisted in allowing New Thought to be actually known as legitimate, authorized religion. Not that we needed that, but she was very instrumental in making that happen. So she was instrumental in so many things. And as I think about, Howard Caesar and Roger Teal and a number of individuals who were on that original board that brought her on as the executive director of the Association for Global New Thought, which ultimately led to the founding of the Season for Nonviolence, we couldn't have made a better choice. And as I was saying earlier, she became a great friend. We were friends that basically almost transcended our association and working together. And so obviously I'm going to miss her. But here's the deal. The qualities that Barbara represented: love, compassion, generosity, intelligence. These qualities are emanations of the presence of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. So we're clearly aware that those qualities don't diminish because she's no longer present with a physical body. We are aware that those qualities continue as an individual expression of Barbara without the physical body. We know this as a part of our teaching, but we know this in our heart, that those qualities continue to live as a unique expression of who Barbara was and who Barbara is, so that none of that's diminished. She just allowed for this particular time that she had on the planet to actually reveal a unique expression of those qualities as Barbara. And so we take this opportunity to presence her in this moment at the closing of the Season for Nonviolence, and to celebrate her life, to celebrate all that she gave, and to celebrate all that she did, and to celebrate those powerful qualities: beauty and love, intelligence, compassion, generosity of the soul, and to know that they continue to live and unfold. So though we have memories of Barbara, I have many, many. We were buddies. We joked a lot. We kibitzed a lot. We talked a lot. We planned a lot. We visioned a lot. We did all of that. I'll have many memories. But one of the most beautiful things is that because she shot from the eternal, even if memories fade, she being the image and likeness of the presence of God itself, that never fades. And that will continue to express. And we'll never say to Barbara, and I invite you not to say to her, goodbye. But instead we embrace her and we say, we'll see you later. We'll catch you later in another dimension beyond time and space. I know that for sure. So as we celebrate the Season for Nonviolence coming to a close, which is never really a close of the season, it's an endless season of powerful teachings of the great peacemakers of the world. In Barbara's name and in her honor, we live up to these qualities as best as we possibly can. So I invite us to think about Barbara and to ask ourselves this: how is it that we can memorialize her life? And I suggest that as we think about Barbara, we think about her compassion, we think about her generosity of the soul, we think about her advocacy around peace. We think about her great work that she did to formalize a new thought as an authentic religion within the Parliament of World Religion. As we think about all the things she did, we ask ourselves, how can we memorialize her? We take any of those qualities, her workmanship, her love, her compassion, and in her vibration, in her name, we invite ourselves to live those qualities to the fullest. In her name, which transcends memory, it actually allows her to be alive in our thought, our words, and in our deeds. Barbara, great friend, great colleague, the only executive director we ever had in the Association for Global New Thought. The only one. And so I offer this prayer as we turn within in this moment on this closing day of season, the great season for ahimsa, for nonviolence, great season for peacemaking. We feel into a deep sense of gratitude and thanksgiving for our life. We turn within and we give a great degree of thanksgiving and appreciation for Barbara. In this consciousness of gratitude, we allow ourselves to recognize the great presence that is everywhere, called by millions of names, but we call it forth as the activity of our awareness. And I speak the word from this deep sense of oneness with this divine presence. For and about our beloved friend, Barbara Fields, knowing that where she is, God is, the presence is. And this, as hands of love acclimated her to the human condition and the human plane, hands of love and angels and ancestors and friends are continuing to acclimate her to another expression of life. She's met with so much love. And so this prayer embraces her next step in her own soul's evolution. And we do not say goodbye, we say we will see you later, as these prayers assist her in her acclimation for the next great iteration of her own life. And we bless her husband, Steve Pope, her brother, her sister-in-law, all of her family members, with a dynamic peace that passes human understanding, and the same peace cascades out to everyone who knew her in the flesh, that we all may have a deep sense of peace that passes human understanding regarding her ascension into the next level of her growth, development, and unfoldment as a beautiful soul. Thank you, Barbara. I give thanks and allow it to be so. And so it is. Amen. Thank you all for tuning in today, and continue to, when you think about Barbara, think about those tremendous qualities that she emanated. Grab one for yourself and ask how you can be more like that. And in her name and in her nature, through your thought, through your speech, and through your action, keep her alive, not only during this season, but make this season endless through your own embodiment of the sacred qualities that Barbara represented. Have a beautiful and wonderful day. Peace and blessings.